Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Stage 2 battle. This one is going to be a battle between Genesis up in the top corner bearing the red gloves with his prison deck, looking to lock down the competition and lock in a Deluxe championship win. But he's going to have to pave the way against a most dastardly opponent, that being Ava with Alcazar down in the bottom corner with the blue gloves. And blue is both the nation as well as the gloves, as we are going to be dealing with a Dark States deck that is all about utilizing the soul in a variety of ways. And if that wasn't enough, we're gonna have to be seeing some interesting custom arts from her and all the while, just to show that bit of personal expression there. With me today as co-commentator, we've got ourselves Fumi.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Fumi was the Virgilla player in this Deluxe, as you may have remembered from a feature match between himself and Arxel. Stunning performance on that one, by the way, Fumi. What do you make of this matchup?
You got Alcazar being the master of defenses, and then Fair Snow just taking all the soul away.
Yeah, that Soul Emblem is going to be kind of tricky as far as Alcazar's ability to maintain goes, because 2 from Soul could actually really screw up its particular soul accumulation requirements, as it needs to get upwards of 15 in order to get all of its effects online. So that might actually be dastardly there. And it actually does have some amount of resource choke points, so in order to get back cards from the prison, CB may not be a good option, and Soul could actually reduce it as well. But Ava is definitely very versed in this deck, and having said that, she may have a lot of different tools up her sleeve to be able to counter this matchup, as we already know these fighters have been preparing for this matchup for a good while. So we're going to see the fruits of those labors. Now, let's go ahead and get it started, fighters. Stand up in the Vanguard.
Arise, my Vanguard. So, I will off return. Since I'm politely going first, I'll discard Volcano. And then we'll set up the energy generator. And then I will ride into Raising Idea, Alcazar. With its skill, I reveal my part of my raid deck and get a token. Idolize Queen's Court. And then I can activate its skill to look at top 7, put 2 normal units into its soul. It's been placed this turn in the top 7. What's this?
This is a really strong tutoring effect, almost on par with the Better Credit Ride line. And one thing that's really nice with that Idealized Queen Court is that every turn afterwards, it can pull an additional card. So in the late game here, we could be seeing a lot of cards being pulled out, but this tends to be in excess, as it has a secondary function to put cards from the drop zone and so on. And that might be a little bit more important for this specific matchup, as the late game and sustain is going to be very pivotal against Prison potentially. Furthermore, even though we do see a lot of these custom arts here, I, as the commentator here, will try my best to be able to identify what the proper cards are, so don't be dismayed by this. It's just a particular quirk of this fighter.
Right. I can pronounce this card name, Vince Galza, whatever it's called, and then I will put one planet into Soul, and then I will use me pass.
Alright, so they pass after putting in their grade 1 Gargoyle card, which is the Armor Arms card, along with Volcano, which is their primary grade 2 Eater. Now moves over to Genesis's turn. Going second is generally not where Prison wants to be, but he does get some benefits from this, being able to attack first and also some energy, which could be utilized for further draw power. Discarding the Seraph Pure Light initially, there's not a lot of good discard targets in a deck like Prison, so that's actually not too bad for it, relatively speaking.
Alright, let's do it simple. I will reveal. I'll get all my necessities first, like my.
Okay. While he sets up, Fumi, what do you make of a matchup like this now that Prison is revealed to have to go second here?
I think that Prison might be a bit more on the aggressive side when it comes to the grade 3 turn. I know that they have like a bunch of good riggers that get a lot of power, especially on the Persona turn. It gets crazy, you know?
Yeah, the grade 4 turn can definitely push out a lot. One interesting advantage that Ava's going to have going into this matchup is the Gargoyle they put in the Soul, because the Armor Arms gauge has a stipulation that allows the Ace unit, which is Leilua, to have a resist effect, so it won't be able to be chosen by most effects, and that's going to be good because that's exactly the kind of effect that Prison's going to bring to bear here. So Leilua will be this semi-permanent interceptor for the deck, so that is a good advantage. advantage, but it may not be enough if everything surrounding it is going away anyway. Okay, looks like we're gonna
I'll
start
keep
off
it
nice and
simple.
passive with Snake.
8K.
Nice.
You made vibe check.
Alright.
Alright, drive check.
Sink the damage.
No trigger.
Okay, and looks like we're gonna be damage checking yet another of those Volcainas.
And
And I'll enter.
My fort stands. I will then draw. Jesus Christ.
So,
I'm already off now, it's there.
with most of the Volcainas already taken out of play there, that is actually a bit interesting because Volcaina does come with it the ability to put cards from dropping the soul. So we need to keep these in circulation in order to be able to properly get those soul targets in there from the drop. But let's see, while they're debating this, it is
I'll
interesting
just
to
put my
know.
mate unit.
Ooh, okay, so they're going to start to Lea Lua. Lea Lua is a main
There you go.
unit, and that means it's going to be played in this deck.
So I will find Queen's Water. And I know exactly what Fog finds.
Now, one thing that's interesting about the mate unit in this context as well is that because it has a really beefy shield, one of the things that it tends to be a play in this deck is the ability to call it from the soul out to the Guardian Circle. But if it gets ripped from the soul, and if it gets ripped from the drop zone, especially as well, so it can't go back into the soul, that might actually disrupt that. So Leva may have to find alternatives to guard with, depending on if they can get the cycle on repeat or not. Okay, looks like the fort's going to be activating here.
I'll look at top 7.
Okay, so they're actually going to go for deck filtering on this one again instead of conservation type of play. So they're probably going to want to try and filter out for as many triggers as possible. Ooh, now here's an interesting one. So Flaros is a bit of an interesting fodder here because with Flaros' skill, not only do you have it as a discard target to get on the soul, but Flaros is also able to put another card from the drop into the soul and get some power. So this is even more that soul from drop kind of conservation method.
Alright. I will then spawn Volgat skill. Unique skill.
So the ace unit comes on down, Valak being able to look at the top 7 cards of the deck and put something in the soul and then call from there. Now, if they're able to see the correct card they need, it's going to be really good because this would be the perfect situation for a Philia to come on down. With an empty field, Philia can proc right away.
Put a mate unit in there.
They don't see Philia, they only see a mate unit. So they could call a frontline attacker here because there's not a lot of good booster actions. Even the Gargoyle's not going to work out well here because its ability doesn't have the proper Queen's Order card in there to be able to recur back out. So it's kind of an unfortunate soul for Ava at the moment.
Yeah, we'll just add back that. Let's just spawn the Gargoyle.
Interesting. Yeah, this is sort of what I meant, right? It's suboptimal to call it in terms of effects, but because a booster is needed in order to get over potential defensive, it's still likely the best call that they had on hand here. Now we're going to be pairing it up with the Queen's Order here. Now this is the normal order Queen's Order, but this one, by counterblasting when putting it in soul, she's able to call up to 2 cards with different card things from the soul. Then if there's 10 more cards in the soul, she can give 5,000 power to the front row. Obviously, we're not at that point yet in the game, but this does allow the ability to flood that field. So we're going for some nice rush action on Prison, which is exactly the kind of thing that you generally want to do. If you're unafraid of Prison's like particular punish of field removal, this is kind of where you want to be at. Ooh, and there's a call from the hand. Now this is actually Philia, it looks like. I know it's, again, hard for everyone to tell because of all these random custom arts, but that is Philia. So that means they'll be able to get an extra 5,000 on the boost and draw.
So this may be a measly 23k.
Oh.
No guard.
Check the drive.
Alright, drive checking into another Philia, looks like that'll be good for a backup turn.
Very
Way
well
too
done.
much.
Damage check.
Ooh, defensive right away. That'll help out Genesis.
Very well.
Just the kind of punish that you could expect from an early rush pattern like this. The good thing for Ava is that they do have enough numbers to be able to fight back against that defensive, so they weren't caught lacking, but this is significantly easier to guard now.
18k.
18k. That's okay. Very well then. I will guard.
Alright, guarding. Ooh, that's a bit of a trippy guard. Now that's their ride skipper into the grade 4. So now that ride skipper along with the grade 4, and there is a little bit sucks, but it was able to guard that attack. Now there's one more here. This one's 23 as well, it looks like.
Okay.
Very well then. Thank you for the extra CD. I will take the damage.
Okay,
Oh.
taking a damage check here. And it looks like it's not a no trigger. It's unfortunate that it was a PG, but on the bright side, because it wasn't defensive, then they weren't wrong to guard the way they did. Customarily, an attack pattern like that, the second attack, if you're willing to take 2 damage, the second attack would also be taken in case the second defensive comes on down, but don't punch him there on that one. Now it's Genesis's turn. Will he push back just as hard as a grade 2 turn, or is he going to continue to play very conservatively? One issue that Ava has run into is Ava put themselves into a CB deny type of predicament. One of the issues that Ava generally has with this deck has to come from the issue of counterblast, because the deck requires a couple of counterblast per turn usually. Ooh, okay, now we're gonna go with the pink here.
I will just reveal this in my right deck at this point. We already know what it is. I will Soul Blast one, and I will draw a card. Would you like to get rid of something?
And now a prison comes from the hand as well, which obviously can come back later. Now, like I was mentioning before, this CB deny is a very legitimate strat at this stage of the game, because one thing that Ava hasn't displayed yet from among their public zones is the countercharger. That countercharger is usually very pivotal for this kind of deck because of the CB. So that might be something that could be problematic.
Oh, in prison, brilliant.
Alright then. I will call. Skill. Get that last thing in your drop to prison.
Okay, well, Kaina's going to get thrown into prison now. That's nice. And then we get a CB to draw on top of it that goes for it.
And it goes to the CB draw.
Right, on top of that, assuming he commits nothing else, he can still go both on the rear guard circles there, which is definitely pretty primo.
I will call. I will get rid of, let's think. Alright. I'll get rid of this one. Call. And I will shuffle.
Let me go for another one. Is it going to be another grade 2 rush as well?
Potentially. Now, one issue here that...
And that will be all.
Oh!
And that will be all.
Okay, he's going just for the plus.
Okay. And I will go for your interceptor.
Very smart there. Getting rid of the 5k intercept because ace units lack the shield value. And he's going... So it looks like that Ava's going to be going in for an intercept anyway. Though it has no shield value, he just wants to get rid... She just wants to get rid of that card. Maybe if... Ooh.
Alright. Is that was it?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead, do your drive.
Alright.
Ooh, critical trigger. That puts Genesis in a bit of an interesting choice case here. He could land 2 very solid damage to try and progress game state, or he could try to reduce Alcacel's ability to fight back. And that's a bit of a weird choice here.
The clapback could be strong, but 4 cards can make a difference.
Oh.
Let's think. 4 cards is pretty much all you need, thanks to Prism. So I will not let you get advantage.
Ooh, alright. Despite the critical, going on an end turn. Alright, now we've got a really primo CB deny situation here.
Okay, let's see what Anna's trying to do.
One of the nice things about this is that even though there's miss out on damage here, because of how strong the late game is for Seraph Pureline, you can easily expect Genesis to make up on that damage when the time comes for the all-out attack because of all the extra criticals that are coming Ava's way. So that does seem, in retrospect, to be a fairly smart decision.
I'll just start Brillia, and then I'll ride, and the Queen will make him march her way onto the board. Ride, off the stall, and then with her skill, I'll search for a clean border.
The grade 2 Alcacel has hit the field.
With Alcacel's skill, adding any of the Queen orders from the deck to the hand will be the Blitz or will be the Normal. The Normal is likely not going to be useful here, and thus the Blitz is coming to the field here, to the hand, because there's no CB to use the Normal order, and that was one of the main points of that chunk there. Now, there's 4 active cards in the hand, potentially, assuming no other orders.
I'll use your Prison to Soul Blast 1 to call Welcome.
Oh.
Welcome will put a card from my drop into Soul.
Very well then. I'll use the skill of my Prison. Let's see if the RNG is on my side or is it on yours. You know what? I'm not even mad at that. That's pretty good in my position.
Soul charging a grade 4. Well, that is a Soul Blast target for Seraph as well, potentially. Although usually when you ride Seraph on Seraph, you always have the Soul Blast target, but at least it's on a trigger unit, so they make a point there. Let's see here. Now we're kind of putting in a card in the soul to effectively make getting out of the prison free, but Alka-Self still has to deal with such a hefty delay here in terms of soul value. One of the issues is that, and this is very insidious, is there is a countercharge in the deck, but it requires 10 or more cards to the soul. So even if Ava was able to see it, if they're having to take cards out of prison utilizing Soul Blast, they can't reach that threshold. So we're robbing Peter in order to pay Paul.
Alright. That's all of them usually do.
Alright, they're declaring combat step now, so they're keeping it nice and light here, trying to stock up on resources.
I will still attack your Vanguard for 13.
Alright, I'm in an interesting position. I either guard or get damage denied, or take damage and probably have to guard more. Knowing you'll see the triggers. No guard.
So remember to use PG.
Ooh, okay. So they anticipate a trigger coming on down, but they're gonna take the hit anyway. Let's see if Genesis was correct in their prediction. They may not be playing Astroya, but they still expect the criticals to come. Ooh, they were right in this case. Front trigger, and this is a soul front, so this is another means of building soul there. So a fairly prudent build, but with it not being a critical, only 1 damage is given to Genesis, which could be good or bad.
Yep.
Okay, no trigger there. Okay.
Very good, very good.
Not a bad
damage.
No trigger. Unfortunate, but it will have to do regardless.
So, I ask of you. 28k.
Oh.
28k?
They're going on the Vanguard again. Genesis already broke through the potential for a damage knife by taking the initial damage, so there's not really much point going to rearguard at this stage. It's better just to ask for shield value if Genesis isn't inclined on taking. So far, Ava's been playing this about as correct as she could here, being very chill.
Very well then. You take 2 cards from my hand.
So,
Alright, guarding up to 20 to go up to 30 versus the 28. Nice, clean guard there. And it kind of makes sense to give up a life when considering 2 are in the field. Efficient guard. Okay, now it's Genesis's turn. Relatively speaking, the damage count is definitely going against him, but in terms of cumulative advantage, he is going to be able to start passing up Ava a bit, so that is going to swing the things back towards a middle ground. The key here is going to see whether or not he can regain some amount of stability and build that tempo for the grade 4 turn. He's given up on some cards there, but it's very likely he can still see the pieces he needs. Alright, let's see what's got in store for us.
May the prison warden prison those who are prison all those evildoers. I will ride into Cyril pure light. Wait, am I right? Clear light. Yeah.
I also get the thing was okay.
Alright, the Princess of the Prison is now hitting the field, and with that is going to come a lot of the benefits of the prison mechanic. More power, more drives, and of course, a lot more ways to ask Ava to use up resources to get back her lost comrades.
Alright, untap, let me EB7.
Okay,
EB7.
The EB7 draw. Okay, so that indicates that the restander isn't in the hand right now, as Corner just has the ability.
No.
Thank you, Muna, for coming from that draw. I call.
Ooh, this is a really huge top deck here. With Muna's skill, being able to Soul Blast to draw when a card is called out of the prison is going to build up his hand significantly.
I'll get rid of that interceptor.
Alright, we're kind of back into the prison where she belongs, and now that means with 3 cards in prison, 10,000 power, and a 3rd drive will be going to clear light on the attack. Okay, utilizing a counter blast
get rid of your last rear guard.
Okay, now grade 1 Alka-Self goes into prison, making that 4. Life will also look in the top 5 in order to call a combat to the field.
I mean, it's a call, not a good one. But I'll call my other Muna.
Ooh, calling a Muna here. One nice thing about this Muna is that assuming he's willing to just use the soul on her, like en masse, he could utilize both of the skills of both Munas to Soul Blast 2 and Draw 2. So if you take that into account, in addition to the triple drive, he could be looking at somewhere in the ballpark of a double-digit hand.
Alright then.
This is
Since I have 3 or more, they both gain 5k.
And not only that, all the other cards in this field also effectively get 5k power from their own requisite prison requirements. If you include the 10k power up to Seraph in total, there's a 35,000 power cumulative coming from these units. Very nice.
And get my last 5k, because we all love 5ks. And okay. I prepare for my onslaught. I will swing. This will be 36 with triple drive.
Ooh.
Okay. Go for it.
Alright,
Okay.
let's check the drive.
Drive check to be
First
huge
check.
here. Very nice.
No trigger. Second check.
Critical trigger does up the ante here.
All the Vanguard, I'll give it to my grade 2. So even if one doesn't hit, at least I share one of them. And my last trigger check.
Ooh, another critical trigger! Putting Alcazar all the way up to 4. Well, they certainly won't be CB to 9 for the rest of this game state, but they have to deal with going to 4 here. Oh boy. That may have been a little bit more than Ava bargained for.
You know what? I'm gonna even out my field. I will even them out.
Alright, and
I
like
think
evenly
damage
displaying
delivery.
10k.
Heal trigger,
Ooh,
power goes
okay.
Vanguard.
Defensive is nice, but that won't heal, unfortunately, so it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory in that case. And now the second check.
Second.
That's just
PG,
PG.
sadly.
Maybe the third check will be another trigger.
Third.
Maybe.
Oh, why not play yourself? Damage.
Flips it up. Ooh, front trigger. Okay, front trigger is going to be able to make the Vanguard now a base of 33. But thankfully for Genesis, they saw to this by giving the 10k power-ups to both of the front or rear guards respectively. That means the Muna column can still ask for a 5k shield here as it comes on in for the attack.
Alright.
So
Oh,
this
God,
is
it's a-
36. This is 36.
Ooh, Soul Front comes on down. Definitely a good guard in this case. It may have been a little bit of an overguard, but that soul is very valuable.
Yup.
Okay. And this is going to be 38.
So you may see this as, oh my god, but I'm gonna actually Blitzer. So first one.
Oh, they go for the Blitz order.
And then
Once
I'm gonna
again,
call out
being able to use the Blitz Order.
the Soul
And
Front.
here's a really clever play. Yep, using this Soul Front means that now when retired from Guardian Circle, goes right back into the Soul. So in other words, they just go for a cumulative plus into Soul big time. Good combo play like
Very
that in
nice.
order to be able to build up that resource. Okay,
And
going up
now-
to 4 here. Ava definitely mitigated that situation as best as she could, but being at 4 damage is going to be a little tough for her, as this is exactly the damage range that Seraph Pure Light wants to be at, as everything could potentially get extra critical.
Persona.
Alright. Alcazar Persona Right is huge here, being able to get not 1 but now 2 of the Royal Orders to the hand.
Yeah.
Now, both Signalize and Vitalize Queen's Orders are going to be coming to the hand here. This means more Field Muster and more defense. And it's not going to be hard to imagine that we're going to get quite the nice field here coming from Alcazar.
Yeah, ha ha. Activate prison. I will allow you to draw 2 cards though, so you can see it as a gift. I will call
Alright then. Oh,
Volcana
Muna first. To be safe, I will
and
Muna first.
Trinidad.
I'll get my 2 draws, then I will Soul Charge after.
Welcome.
Alright. Go.
Alright. Soul Blasting 2, and then following that up with a Soul Charge afterwards. And it's going to be pretty nice. Now we're going for that hand that I was talking
That was a legendary draw too. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh?
I will
Sounds like he's really satisfied with what he saw. Oh, and the last life hole is now
You
into
okay?
circulation here.
Smoking a skill. I put a volcano in the soul, and then I activate the Queen's Fort. I look at top 7.
Ooh, once again, going for a minor deck filter here. Ava's licking in top form.
And then I'll just put a mate unit in there.
Ooh.
One of the nice value points of that mate unit is that as long as they keep that unit in the soul where it's safe from harm from the prison mechanic, they'll be able to be utilized for the Blitz Order defense, and that's going to be a really chunky guard here. It's something you're definitely going to want to see when it comes time for the grade 4 turn. Okay, now we're going to be utilizing the Signalized Queen's Order.
This will go to soul. I get to call 2 cards from my own soul.
This is fantastic. Not only do they get to call any 2 cards they wish from the soul, but this will also be able to get an extra 5k to the front row to make for a 15k to the front row when you compound it with the Persona Ride bonus. It's a lot of power for this pushback.
Yeah.
Oh, Larsa. And then I will call Ophelia.
Ooh, Flaros is going to be a good one here. Put in more cards from dropping the soul. All right. One of the unfortunate things for Genesis in this case is that based on the way that they're playing here, there may not be that many cards in the drop zone to imprison, which is generally a fail-safe way to get cards into prison for the ramp. So there's a real possibility Ava may not have to deal with a double critical board.
And then I'll call this unit, and I will now activate its skill.
Ah, the Gargoyle
Judging
on
from all
down.
15k and a 15k. Plus over here, there'll only be another 15k, but do this same skill. Since I have 10 more cards, it'll gain 5k. When it's attached later, it'll gain 5k. Ophelia will gain 5k when they attack.
Ooh, power up this dramatic is making prison look like it was hitting with a whimper.
Alright.
Quite a nice offense. Quite nice.
I will attack. For 30k. To your Vanguard.
Very well, a 30k. Do I want to chance a defensive? I will not chance this one.
Oh.
And I will intercept. It may not get its power boost, but it... Wait. Hey, wait. Okay, so it does get its 5k. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Minor thing, but yeah.
And then with this skill, with its already skill to make it 30k, this skill is going to make it 38k to your Vanguard, and after the card can drop into Soul.
Okay.
That was quite a smart idea for me to not take damage so soon. Damage check.
Mine. Well, it's a bit unfortunate to lose a countercharger, and it's not a defensive, so that means Ava's got the clear lane to keep attacking.
Ooh. My Vanguard attacks while... Oh, why not shake this? My Vanguard attacks while boosted. Oh, counter blast 1. I'll call 2 cards from the Soul.
One of the bold things here about this play pattern is that assuming no countercharger comes on in, they're actually back in a position where they don't have a lot of counterblast to work with. Just a very traditional Alcasol issue to run into.
Yeah.
And then with Vulcan's skill, she's gonna put a card into my drop into the Soul.
Once again, being able to vacate that drop zone is very rough. One of the nice things, though, for Genesis is that, thankfully speaking, the skill of the Grade 4 actually doesn't utilize the drop zone as a part of its pull mechanism. It utilizes Soul, Hand, and Field, so that will be one easy way to get up to 8 at least. Okay, Arma Arms is now engaged. That's going to be an extra 28k over to the mate unit. On top of that, it can no longer be chosen until the end of the opponent's turn. So it's safe from whatever imprisoning effects seek to ensnare it.
Yep.
If I'm getting my math right.
That is a really good number there. That means that the mate unit is now sitting at 53 bare minimum, assuming no triggers. That is some breakthrough power. Genesis better ramp up some extra shield in hand, because, oh boy, the best stuff is starting to hit.
That might get a little bit bigger.
41k 2 drives to your Vanguard.
Okay, 41?
Yes, 41.
Very well. You know what? Thankfully, I can do this. A call. OT.
Ooh, and with that, it's shut down with a no pass. What a nice one-card guard for the scenario.
So 60. Yeah, it's a no pass. Drive check. No trigger.
That's the countercharger, Selfish Engraver. Ooh, Persona Ride. Okay.
No,
if Alcacel's able to see another turn there, those are some really good clapback cards. Ava just needs to survive the
Then-
next turn.
Clearly, I will go into Soul. I draw a card.
And then to make
This will gain more power. It will also gain a crit. So let's see. $48K, 2 crit to your Vanguard.
Right, that's gonna be
40K.
pretty beefy. Demanding 40 shield
And
is
the other
not an easy ask.
And the other?
Oh, the other one, 53.
I mean, in my circumstances, I got this. I call. Since you have a grade 2, I get my free PG.
Soul Blasting 1 to PG that attack is such a cruel shutdown. Very apropos for a deck like Prison.
yup.
So these 2 cards will go to Soul, all 2 cards.
Oh.
Well then.
And now Alcacel showing why it's one of the strongest defensive decks that we have in this game right now.
53K to your 1. It's just measly 1 damage. I won't CV deny you.
You won't, but here's the thing. Do I go to 5 and risk you clapping back harder the following turn? Or do I say safe and probably hit a heal? This is my predicament. I'll be safe. I will play it safe. And I will guard this.
Ooh, Elementary Sanctitude. Okay, so that PG means that we'll be able to stop that attack. Ooh, having to get rid of yet another security upgrader is a bit rough. We're trying to lose out on extra copies of the grade 4 there. Okay, now Alcacel has to pass the turn to Prison. Based on the current trajectory, there's going to be a total of 4 prisons, 2 from the hand and 2 from the soul coming on down. That's not really bad for Alcacel here. They don't mind that too much. Ooh, Prison's going to need to work some magic in order to be able to come back in this game state. This is not great. That Selfish Engraver drive check was very pivotal for Ava as well, because this is indeed the kind of resource card that she needs to see to keep going.
As they say, no one can escape the law. I will call. My last... Nah, I still have one last one. To the drop zone.
He has another one.
Ooh, and Security Upgrader. Alright, now unfortunately Upgrader can't snipe a card from the drop zone as there's nothing there to snipe, but it still allows him the ability to go into his one and only grade 4. That would be Aurora Battle Princess, Seraph Pure Lightor.
Thankfully, all my pure lights are in the drop zone, so I cannot damage them at all. So, give me the 2 from your hand. That's all I can do.
Hands.
2 from the hand and 2 from the soul is quite phenomenal here. Going up to 6 in Prison means that he'll be able to get an extra 15k to the front row so far.
Yep.
So I'll put these 2 cards to jail.
Oh, they
Really, I
just-
go to jail.
and the Blizzard.
Oh,
Persona
God, go to
getting
jail.
It's very likely that they probably was holding on to another Persona ride from one of the draws there, which is why they're feeling pretty confident being able to put it in.
Let's see.
Maybe right.
One other thing that's going to be a bit pesky for Ava in this case is that by soul blasting that Seraph, that means that the effect of Clear Light now comes into effect. So any on-place auto abilities from cards that are placed from the prison will no longer be effectual on the following turn. So that little bit of a floodgate could be a bit annoying depending on what cards you decide to call.
Okay. Do I want to dig deeper in my deck?
Deck winning is deck winning.
You are very true.
Ooh, okay,
Rifle.
they're going to use another CB here to call out the top 5 once again because they are unable to get rid of that card in the field. Let's see. This is definitely a predicament for Genesis because it feels like Alcacel has been able to match it beat for beat.
Oh, that is funny. That is funny. I didn't really need to worry at all. I will call. I'll call.
Ooh, Penetrate
Penetrate
Aquas. Alright,
Legendary.
Penetrate Aquas is a bit of an annoying card in this scenario because of its ability to propose a battle door effect there. It can't get a card from the drop zone into Prison, but, you know, 6 is still enough to be able to enable its effect and get 15k to the front row. There's no extra criticals, but assuming that Genesis is able to do the old good old-fashioned drive check funny yellow star, he can still apply significant pressure.
Oh yes, we do love sunny yellow stars, but alright. Before I forget, I need to get my counters, because it should be a simple plus 15 to my farm up.
Alright, he's going in hard right here. With that 15k in support with the 13k booster from behind, that means that Seraph is getting a total of plus 28 for 41k with the triple drive ability. A very strong offense. Actually, the same value that Alcacel's Vanguard threw in the last turn. Very funny coincidence there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, how would I ever guard this? Here, take a PG.
Alright, those they throw down a nice PG.
Oh, very well.
Very prudent.
Seems that we both got a sense of humor. First check.
Oh, the funny yellow star. Tis the pressure.
Off to my Aquas. You know what? Because, why not? On Aquas. Second check.
Quarter citrus, that's good for a clapback turn.
Last check.
Two critical triggers! Ooh. So now he's going to go ahead and throw it both ways. That means now that there's a threat of death on both of these columns.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things I noticed is that between the discard and the rip from hand, 2 of the Violence Queen order have been put away. Those Blitz orders being put away could be one of 2 things. Either they have plenty of shield anyway and don't care about it, or it means that they're holding on to a potential Elementaria Sanctitude as their Blitz order play for the turn.
Alright, let's be annoying. Let's do with the Battle Door one first. Sounds fun, right?
I requested how much?
Yeah, no, I will give you
56 with the critical and Battle Door is insane work.
Oh my
Yep,
Oh,
56.
Okay.
Look, 56 is demanding a total shield value of 45. That's not bad.
Even your PGs will not go
I
unpunished.
intercept. And then I activate my hand. A Blitz Order.
Oh, and another Vitalize. Looks like we weren't
Full
able
charge.
to see. Ooh, okay, that
And
final
then
call
I
is an
will
interesting
fall
soul
from-
charger.
Oh snap.
Oh. Here's a
Ooh.
50k shield.
Alright. Now remember, this is a 20k shielder, and if you apply it with the 10k shield provided from the Blitz order, that was a cumulative 50,000, putting him up to 63. She
well.
easily
Very well.
warded off that attack.
Oh my goodness.
I had to be
And
I had to be quite a little annoying. Alright, this is going to be okay, so that's 51.
51.
Yes.
Take a PG. Starting with crit.
ooh, demanding
Yeah.
double PG along with the use of the Blitz order, and the mate units have been
Very
utilized as well. And the craziest thing, even so, now this is where things get really kind of terrible for Ava, because the one issue with Selfish Engraver's countercharger is that it's a countercharger that is after battle. This means that they won't be able to utilize the skill of their order card in order to muster back field. So they need to simply make do with whatever 5 cards they have in hand. Persona Ride will definitely help in this endeavor, but hopefully they stockpiled on some really powerful clapback cards, because this is the turn to capitalize. Genesis may very well be in the most vulnerable position he will be throughout this game state. Will she be able to close it out on this turn? Let us find out. Okay, looks like they're going to start with the 4. Ooh, once again, going for top 7 here. Even though there are plenty of targets in the drop zone, it seems they're going to attempt to go for a deck filter on this stage.
Alright. I'll put some mate units in.
Okay,
Shuffle
restoring
the deck.
mate unit into the soul is really huge here.
I also want 3 AG plus 7. I will call the Selfish Engraver. Efrelosa.
Okay, a
And then-
couple of sturdy attackers.
No skill.
I'll have to go for the new skill.
This would make sense, because if you look at the cards they have in the soul, even though they do have orders to get back, the fact of the matter is that they likely don't need the orders at this stage. So I can understand the mentality behind it.
And then I will allow it. I will Soul Blast 1.
Ooh,
I will
they
Soul Blast
need
the
that
regular
card,
piece.
but it's gonna give Genesis a card. What a nice trade-off.
Oh.
And then I'll
Very
call
awesome.
Brilliant.
I will soul
And you
charge
can't even
one.
draw from that.
Oh, All right, now utilizing the skill of the prison in order to soul charge one, and then Muna is able to soul blast it in order to draw a card.
Yeah.
Nice little slick combo play there in order to get the draw.
Yeah, go ahead.
Draw.
And then I'll use Fiber.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The Fiber
Fiber Galaxy.
Okay, Fire Regardless got soul blasted out, so this will be able to filter out for another card. Huge.
Sure.
Both of these fighters are looking to be in top form here. Fascinating game state we have going on. Oh, overcalling the list up with Trigger. This is now this may actually seem a little bit weird for folks, but the reason why is that Ava is a charisma fighter, and they tend to rely on an abundance of triggers in order to push game state. In this case, they've been deck filtering throughout the course of the game in order to try and deck compress as much as they possibly can. This is going to be the moment where the fruits of those labors will likely manifest themselves in the form of some massive trigger count.
You know, this will work against you. I will let you hit.
Ooh. So that means there's a defensive there, and because of the hit, this is huge. The soul charge happens. Soul charging the heal trigger. That is clever. What a move from Genesis there. They took its strength and used it to his advantage.
Alright, counter charge one.
Now that is clever.
Skill activate. I'll put another card into soul. The mate unit seems well.
Alright, mate unit coming back into soul, likely to be requisitioned to the field. 25,000 to the field, a 5k guard.
I'm sorry, my restander, but you must go.
Restander coming on down. That makes sense though. There's not a lot of counterblast left to utilize, so it'd be too expensive to keep.
Yeah.
I then I start kind of blasting one.
And now the troops have come to the queen's side.
The mate's units and Vulcana skill up with the cards from my offensive soul. Since I'm feeling lucky, let's put another mate. Let's put the suffrage engraver.
Okay.
I will say, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game.
So
okay. I do not trust you.
Oh?
Alright, here's the thing. Alright, you said 23. You said...
It's 23, yep.
Alright, let's think here.
23 is coming on in. The rear guards are absolutely massive. The mate unit is sitting at a turn total of 60,000. Meanwhile, the skill of Volcana
will be
is
43.
So
your biggest will be...
Yeah, the biggest will be 60k over here.
60,000.
No, I mean to drives. So your biggest will be 43. No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, after
drive.
The biggest will be 43. If I get 2 triggers, it'll be 43. So you know past it, it'll be.
The best I can do is go up to 48, and I will do that. Thank you,
48.
Okay,
48 is able to shut down the attack. Heal trigger, but that gets denied again because of Genesis's very smart damage check. Ooh, that might be enough to be able to turn the turn. Oh, double heal trigger being whiffed. Ava is missing out big time on that. What a pivotal play.
My intelligence fighter is showing. I've never been once thought of myself as an intelligence fighter, but this seems to have shown that.
Let me pull out a calculator.
Big push here. 53,000 with the critical. That's going to be demanding a total of 35 shield from Genesis.
Oh, do you know what? I do have that. But should I? I don't have many other options. So I will do this. And goodbye, Restander. You served yourself very well.
Restander once again having to come on down, unfortunately. Not enough CV to go around, it seems like. Okay, that's a 35k guard, and now...
I would draw 2 cards.
Ooh, okay. Now they're gonna go into the soul to draw 2, and finally Genesis is gonna have to stare down the barrel of a 70k mate unit.
70k, DOPG?
Unfortunately, yes, I do, but I need to think of my discard targets. Let's think about it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to discard a PG for this.
Using PG off of PG. Ooh, okay. One interesting thing about that is that you would theoretically think that the corner citrus would then be able to stay in the hand there if they would just double PG being used, but maybe he's got a different plan depending on the cards in the hand.
You may think I'm cornered here, but I'm far from it. I will draw. Let's show you our true might. I will energy charge 3. Skill of my order.
Oh, that is the Shroud in Darkness order. This is why he was wantonly throwing away his cards. Now he's able to revive back not only his security upgrader, but with the corner citrus coming on back as well. He's able to reutilize her. That's why he was able to throw her down. What an interesting playback.
You thought I was cornered, but I will have this plan a few times ahead.
The man wasn't cornered. Instead, he got corner citrus.
Choose one from your drop zone. And prison.
Meanwhile, he can energy plus 3 in order to get a draw.
Okay.
And not only that. This is it. Because of that effect as well, because he has security upgrader, he can now use the effect of the pure light on the rewrite. And without using a counterblast. That means that he can get the restamp for 4 attacks and with the critical because he'll be able to get exactly 4 in the prison. This is it. This is the most perfect setup he could find here. What a brilliant comeback.
Everything has... I did not think I'll get this far, but I have someone to honor. I have to do this for everybody, for those who cheered me on. Skill. Oh wait, before, one from drop. Upgrader.
Alright, resolving security upgrader skill, and now using the monstrous skill of Pure Light.
Prison 2. From hand, 2 from soul.
Exactly.
Alright.
I'm carrying multiple people's wishes on my back, and I will follow their wishes. Those who have not made it to stage 2, I will honor you.
Look at that. It's like he's rallying the efforts of all the fallen fighters in this event.
Not a hodo.
4 cards left in the hand.
Yeah. And assuming Genesis calls a card from the hand, he'll be staring down his opponent with a complete formation. Ava, meanwhile, with only a few cards, but she does very likely have some strong cards to bring back, so this could still bring back either way.
Not the optimal booster, but a booster nonetheless.
Alright, calling on down for the sake of numbers. This really signals it all. Everything is going to come down to this turn. Now, everyone's laid down their cards in the field, it looks like. With a total of 11 in the prison, 25,000 power, and a critical goes to all Genesis' front row units. This is the strongest offense that he can muster up at this moment. We'll be able to break through the opponent.
Very well then. Thanks to my critical trigger, my 25 will round up to a 30. So 40k, 2 crit to your Vanguard.
Oh, starting off strong for 30 shield ass.
30 shield. Here's the thing. I still have the overtrigger skill in deck. So I can theoretically gamble and then get my last PG from the deck and draw from the hand. And then pray I damage take 2 triggers.
Well, you gamble.
So then I know you'll get another trigger. So looking at just here.
Would you like
You're
a
out of
damage
the
count?
overtrigger. So you can't gain more damage, you can't heal out. I can't heal out from anything. There's 4 attacks. So,
I will say, you gave me an awesome fight. I wouldn't take anything less of it.
yeah, actually, so,
Had to double check we were still recording. Given how awesome this fight is, sometimes I just gotta make sure that we're not wasting it away.
Alright,
You know what,
Okay.
I'm glad that you're here. You can watch this with us. I'm glad that you're here.
I can guard 3 of the
Yeah,
attacks. I can't guard. This is the safest guard attack to no guard.
Very well done.
It all comes down to this moment. The damage checks are going to determine the fight.
So I have a 2 in 7 chance of hitting the open trigger.
Alright. They've declared their chances and their intention. Ava must now take the twin damage check of fate that will decide whether or not she will be able to hold on to this game state or if she'll drop from Deluxe.
Get to
Over trigger has been checked.
Very well.
Okay.
Take a power to my Vanguard. This is removed from the game. Damage check.
Very nice.
Oh, but a PG has been damage checked. That's no defensive, and that means that the card drawn is not a PG either, most likely. Okay, so this could still go either way.
Even with your over trigger, you cannot escape justice. I will counter blast. My lemon will restand and it gains 10k power. You may have gotten
Ask
lucky.
you how much.
I will. Thanks to
51,000.
my Mona, my 25 will go to 30. So this will be 51. 2 crit, 3
51.
draws. Yes.
So- And the others
That's
are.
a mighty persuasive attack.
Okay, my lemon is 45. And my Aquas is, thanks to, is 5k. So this will be 60. Okay, no, 66. My Aquas will be 66, 2 crit.
That's an odd number to be on.
For sure.
Wait,
They've only had
wait.
3k more.
No, it's 50. No, 50. Okay, it's 56, not 60. Sorry, my math was off.
56, okay.
Still an odd number.
This is still a tight game. Ava may have been able to buy themselves a final chance in order to make it through, but this is
So
close.
43. Alright, hold on. Okay. What's the number again?
Okay, Aquas is 56 and Lemon is 45.
I mean your Vanguard.
Oh, 51, 3 crit, 2. 51, 2 crit, 3 drive. Sorry, man, this fight's getting me antsy, bro. The adrenaline hitting.
I'm on the
It's
edge
no
of it.
wonder. This is definitely an intense fight. This is the kind of battle that you expect to see in exchange of powerful decks and strong players in the stage of Deluxe.
I may not be like other present players, but I will do it my own way.
Oh? I definitely.
Alright. So I had to min-max this in a way, and you have a high chance of triggers. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's your face-up damage?
Okay, so you have saw that there was a crit in my damage, but very well, I will flip all my damage.
To actually to check damage.
Alright.
So
Only
10
2
triggers.
triggers.
10 triggers out total, it looks like.
10 triggers, and you might have one hand, but I'm not going to say that. So you have 6. You have 6.
Ooh.
You have a
It's a 50-50.
50-50, and you're doing it 30 times.
It is astounding to me as a commentator how often this sort of situation happens would trigger the normal unit ratio.
Yeah.
Most of your crits are out, but you still can get crits. Harder during games, you get power. And the limit is 51, right? Or no, the
Aquas is 56, and Lemon is 45. Okay, so I see 1 heal into your soul, and you drove check 2 already. I don't know if you've seen any prior, but you should be very low on heals.
Given in their damage zone, they also had a heal trigger there. It's very likely that they're out of heals if I'm calculating right. This means, and given that there's also
because
just
they drove
double
check
crit
2, yeah, they're out. They cannot take it. They cannot take any of my swings. They have no heals.
Okay, so it's 51, correct?
Yes, 51, 2 crit, 3 drives.
anticipation.
Two pass.
Going 2 to pass here. Okay, yep, that's exact math. That'll be able to put it up to 63.
Very well done. First check.
Oh. Will they chance it?
What? Do what? My chances are you might. Let me see. You might have a PG. You might. It's not certain. But if I am not going to chance this, I'm going to be annoying. I will be annoying. I will give it all to Aquas. Actually, I'll give it all to Aqua. Alright, let me. Nope, I will be safe.
Gamble.
All to Aqua. I will not gamble.
Okay.
Okay, he's gonna give it all to
My chances are low. Oh, and I will heal one.
Okay, 2 more checks to go. He decided not to chance it here.
Second check.
All right, no trigger there.
Last.
Draw trigger. Ooh. Okay, that means he can get another bit of power there.
Alright. Oh, even it out. I'll spread it out.
Ooh.
Give it to
If you were in that situation, Fumi, would you have taken that 2 to pass?
No.
Ah, interesting.
No, I wouldn't.
Very well done. I will be annoying. Any PGs you have, I will make sure you pay for in taxes.
Oh.
How much? And how much the other again?
Okay, so the other is going to be 55. And this is going to be, the one that is attacking you is, okay, so that's 30. Okay,
That's 66
30.
now.
Yeah,
An
60.
odd number.
66.
Yeah. 66 going on.
Okay.
That is rough. With Battle Door 2, that's going to be an especially annoying thing.
Yeah.
Good battle door.
Ooh, and they're abiding by the Battle Door there, giving a total of 50 shield. That 50 shield on top of them and 73. And Corner Citrus comes in. Alright. And they declare the GG's as Corner Citrus goes in for the final attack. We're going to see the final damage check from Ava.
Yeah, I don't have feelings.
Damage checking wall kinda, and that's game. Well done to Genesis for being able to make it to top 8 of Deluxe. With a come from behind victory, they managed to take it home to the game. Despite being a substitute fighter who came out at the very last second, they have more than proven themselves to be worthy of this stage. And now they move on to the big 8 of Deluxe, once again vying for the crown. And congratulations, everyone give a round of applause as well to Ava, who fought extremely hard in this match and showed exactly what Alcazar was made of. Very well done, both of you fighters. And if you guys did enjoy this fight, then definitely be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because we've still got plenty of other Deluxe matches in store for you, with 2 matches down and 6 more to go in round 1 of stage 2. There's so much more pulse pounding action to get into, and you don't want to miss it. But while you're waiting for more return to the action, if you're looking for other content on the side, then look no further than this channel, whether it be top 10s, discussions, fight nights, anime reactions, custom card reviews, and so much more. We do it all here on the channel. And if you like what you see, again, support the channel by subscribing. With all that said, take care, God bless, and see you in the next one.